So when we are applying to higher studies universities, so we are already competing with the best of best. So how can we make our SOP stand out from the crowd, not make it look like a very basic SOP, but like something that somebody would pick uh, out of the crowd?
I think that's a hard one, but you can start by not following the standard template that people have for SOPs. I've always been passionate about this, and I did my undergrad and blah blah. So I guess, like, don't go in a chronological way. Don't follow the basic template if you want your SOP to stand out. I'm sure there are other good advice.
I can just add a little bit that I think, yeah, instead of only writing what you did, somehow, relate. It's good if for every university, of course, you won't have time to write different SOPs for each university, but go to their website and they use certain words to describe themselves. And some universities are more into basic research, some universities are more into applications, some universities like to work with different companies. So I think try to understand what they're looking for and try to make your SOP fit to that as much as possible without completely changing who you are. I think, yeah, they like to see that fit. They like to see that you will fit into their existing student body, and you will take their vision forward. So read that mission and vision page. I think, like, I did that for each university, and yeah, I would recommend.
And honestly,
sorry,
yeah, I'm sorry, but I just want to say, just like take some time actually to think about things, and starting from thinking about yourself, like why you want to do this, like really self-reflect before starting to put things in a paper or computer.
Yeah, one thing I learned after coming here, I think, or just, talking to professors and other people who were reading SOPs and in the committee and everything, uh, you don't need to write a very flowery, like you don't have to use very flowery language or very, a very fashionable language. You can just also use very simple English. Try to put your thought across, because one thing that yeah, I did find out here was I think people prefer if you write in a language that can touch them than sounding just fancy. So if that helps to write. But yeah, and also, um, it's not a 1 day process, or it's not even like a 2 or 3 day process. Take your time. You write it, you come back, you start writing whenever you get mood, whatever, just find your rhythm, and then go back to it after taking, a few days break. See if you still resonate with that. uh, Make other people read, see if they resonate with you. So those usual tips that I guess you read or people tell you, that's true, because that does kind of mold your SOP into a very good one. But one thing I did, like I said, just to add on, you don't have to make it all fancy. You can just be who you are.
Just to add on to the points made by everyone here, really great points. But don't make the mistake of repeating everything that's in your resume onto your SOP, and just use the space that you have for the SOP to put out things that are not really seen on a resume or a basic profile application on the portals. So my advice would be to show not to just list your skills, but how you have what your research journey, if you're applying to a PhD program, would look like, would mean to show how you have the potential to do research and describe, some of the challenges that you faced or how you overcome or reached a particular result in some of your projects that you want to describe, which you typically can't do in a resume's bullet point. So definitely think a lot and add that.
This is all great advice. And, during my experience as a postdoc here for past 2.5 years, I have come across some applications and resumes and SOPs. And, based on, because those people wanted to work in my lab, and I just wanted to give a perspective on what we look for. So basically, I'll give examples of some bad applications. Like, some people, they were overconfident about their work. Like, you will not believe, I literally received an email with the title, "Who is the biggest inventor of all time?" And that person listed all their, like, whatever he had done so far in a huge email. And then and it was emailed to the whole lab, all the professors, all the postdocs, research scientists, etc. And of course, nobody even opened it. And other than that, I received some CVs or SOPs which were way too long. Like, the person has only BTech or maybe 1 year of experience, but CV is on going up to 5 pages, or SOP is going up to 4 pages. So then I gave them the advice, like, see, you have to be precise. And then when you actually write your SOP and all, some of the main points are like, just don't forget to include whatever you have done. How does it relate to your next position? Basically, you have to show that you are prepared for this role, and more prepared than anybody else, because so many people are applying, and that is your way to show that you are better than them. So that's one thing. And of course, like, don't include every single thing which you have done, because then it dilutes the focus of the person who is reading. So yeah, like, if you have done 10 good things, then just like shortlist 3 or 4 of them. And yeah, so that's my advice.
Okay, so this was a great discussion, starting with to tell them what they are looking for is present in you, not change yourself completely, keeping it simple, and some examples of a very bad resume. So moving forward to one of our last questions from our side, then we'll take the audience questions, is that how should we prepare for the interviews for the admission panels?
Yeah, so definitely look at, if you have the information beforehand, the profiles of the professors who would be interviewing you. Find out their recent work, and if you are finding a particular project interesting, then mention that to them and how you would like to contribute to that. Also, be prepared with some of the projects that you've done beforehand, so that you can explain to them the technicalities and what the, like, go into detail and like sort of present your previous work in a good way and in a thoughtful way, so that they know that you've done work with a lot of thought, with thinking into it, so that it's not just done because someone else told you to do something. And essentially present yourself as, a able potential researcher. I think that would be my advice.
Thank you, Jasmine. That was a great response. So moving forward to the last one from our side is maybe Adi can take this question. Is that okay? They are done with your SOPs, your resumes, your interviews are done, and now you have a list of universities which have accepted you. So your final round of work in here is like choosing one among them. So how should we do that?
Yeah, depending on how organized you are, you could actually just like make up an Excel sheet and write down what the pros and cons are of each university and what matters to you. I think it really depends on where you are along your career, what your interests are. It could even be like personal reasons. Your boyfriend could be living close by or something. So I think just like being a little organized about it will really help do a lot of research. You could also make use of like technology of today. There's LinkedIn. You can low-key LinkedIn stalk people, look at like how they seem, what kind of growth they've had in their university. You could hit somebody up and like talk to them on LinkedIn. One advice I'd say for talking to people on LinkedIn is realize that you are getting some kind of inside information from that person. So do not ask questions that you can easily find the answers to on Google, because I get this a lot. I get questions like, how do I apply to a university? You can find that online. So if you actually connect with somebody on LinkedIn, ask questions that are specific, thought out, so that you can, actually gain something good from that conversation. So
Adi, you made a very good point. Actually, like, asking that simple questions can also act against you, because the person will think, oh, you don't even know this. Because you're applying
For
to,
sure.
like, so yeah, like you have to show that you have done some of your background research, and then you are asking something which is not available easily. So yeah, very good point. Thank you.
Shreya, I believe you want to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to the LinkedIn thing because I think before applying also I reached out to people on LinkedIn. In fact, that is how I met Durgesh and Adi and Nandita. So that really helps to find out what kind of people are there in the lab, how they feel about the lab. And even after interviews, I think you can ask people on LinkedIn, of course, if they have the time for a short informational interview, like 15-20 minutes. I did that with a few people from all the labs that I was considering. And yeah, I think just be polite when you reach out to them. Understand that they may not be free, they may not use LinkedIn very much, but I think LinkedIn has helped me a lot. So I just wanted to add that.
I feel a little jealous right now because these days LinkedIn is so in the trend. Everybody is there. Earlier LinkedIn was not even existing when I applied, so it was really hard to reach out to people. So, but all of you now who are attending this session today, please take benefit of this opportunity and make the best of it.
Okay, so it has been a insightful discussion so far. So these were all the questions from my side. Now we are opening the panel for the audience to raise their hand, and we'll call out their names and they can go ahead with asking their questions. Srinivas.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm Srinivas. I'm an undergrad from IISc Bangalore. So currently, I'm doing my research in geosciences. So in geochemistry. So I don't have like right now. I'm in fourth year undergrad. So I know that some universities it's not mandatory to have an MS for PhD. So does this apply for most of the universities in US?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can take that. Um, yeah, I mean there are you can definitely directly apply for a PhD after your bachelor's. That's completely fine.
Yeah, and how is it people who has MS will get more you know um uh, more opportunity or like they have more advantage over me and I also have two publications with me, so I don't know where do I stand with them, and I'm a bit scared whether I'll get into some
Yeah.
uh, high rank colleges or not.
So one thing I do know is that you do, when you apply, you do have an option to apply both for masters and PhD. So that gives you a safety net that you also have your master's application, right? But having said that, you if you already have papers, so I know people from masters also who did not have publications. So those things are like an added things to your resume which enhance your profile definitely. But um, but overall you can definitely, so also to add on to this point, there are some universities which, like, where professors are like, only talk to me after you get admitted, right? So in that case, I see a couple of people in my lab who have got admission, and then they talk to the professor, and then they join directly as PhDs from bachelors. So depending on your research, like, yes, having a master's sometimes can be helpful, but again, don't, like, you can definitely apply after bachelor's with your profile, and if you already know what area you are interested in, you can directly apply, and you're having publications and having research in that field will definitely be an add-on. So don't let that be a factor to scare you, because I know many people who have joined directly after bachelor's also.
And one more thing is how would the process be? Like, should I first reach out some professor and then start the application process, or if not, should I go to the website and start applying from there?
Yeah, I mean, well, I would, so again, if you're doing a PhD, then I would definitely recommend start talking to, like, emailing professors, talk to your seniors if you know people in different labs, uh, uh, find out, like, start making the list, looking at labs, trying to contact people there or professors there. That definitely should, be on your list to do, because since you want to do a PhD directly, that means you do have some area of research that you're interested in, and that means some particular colleges and labs which will interest you more than the others. So I would definitely recommend, yes, start talking to professors before you apply, but also keep in mind that all professors may not be available. They may not respond. Some, they just take months, some just don't reply at all if they don't have funding. So there may be different case scenarios. In that case, yes, you can also, like, go ahead and apply for the university, because a lot of times, like we discussed before, the application process may be independent of the professor. But like in your case, if you know you want to do research and you're interested in a particular field, I would definitely recommend that you start contacting professors, make that contact, share your ideas, and you can do that. You can start early.
Yeah. So as far as now, I have seen MIT's EAPS website. So there, I see that GRE has been waived off. GRE is been waived off for this next academic cycle for 2023. So and also it's been said that if you have a 4-year bachelor's which is completely been taught in English, then even you are it's an optional to give IELTS or TOEFL. So like how many universities would be like this? I mean, like I have seen that most of you have given GRE and IELTS. Like right now, for me, and right now the case is different. So should I give it or not? Because giving IELTS and GRE is a bit. I mean, like both are a bit expensive thing also.
Yeah, so for that, you should definitely look at the websites that you want to apply to the program pages. Mostly by September, all programs would start opening their portals, application portals, and would list the requirements for that. And so you check that, and if it is required, then you give it. If it is not required, like the case of MIT, then you can skip giving it and save your money as well. So most of the universities in the last application cycle, that is for fall 2022, required TOEFL. So that's why TOEFL was mandatory for me at least. And only one university that I applied to, and from that one university, it's one program needed GRE. So I had to give it anyway because I was really interested in applying to that program. So it is up to you to see which programs you want to apply and see the requirements and then decide according to that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Just to add on to that, there are also options. I know this because one of my friends very, very recently applied. Uh, they did not give GRE or TOEFL, again because they were applying during this time of when many universities have waived off. But the university, after she had applied, asked for some kind of English certification, so there are also, like, cheaper options available, which some universities accept or some programs accept. So again, that could be a question directly, like, to the grad school or the coordinator, that you could ask. So I remember that test being much cheaper financially than TOEFL. So yeah, that's also an option. I just wanted to put it out, just put it out there.
Thank you, Nandita.
Thank you. And I hope everybody is paying some attention to the chat because some of our speakers are also answering questions there. And I wanted to mention that we are creating the cohorts for MS and PhD applicants from the audience today and from our page. And we will be hosting, more sessions in the future to support the application process. So I have put the link in the chat. Please sign up if you are interested. Let's go to our next person, Priyanshi.
Hi, I had one question. So since it was mentioned that the application goes through the admission committee and might not even possibly be reviewed by the professors, and this is probably more applicable for MS. So is there a point in contacting a professor beforehand while you're applying, who you might work under for your thesis, for your master's, or there probably isn't a, I mean, maybe this might not be a good idea. Just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
I would say
I
that
can.
if you have, oh, sorry.
No, go
Shreya,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say that if you want to do a research assistantship or some way to get your fee, burden reduced, then you should probably reach out to professors and see if they're interested in taking students as a research assistant or a teaching assistant. But otherwise, generally, master's admissions happen through the admissions committee. And some places, there are some cases the university accepts both the master's and the PhD students into as one cohort itself, and they're treated almost equally, except for the fact that you can leave after 2 years or you can continue after giving your qualification exams. So it again varies from university to university, but if there is a program that admits only masters in the application portal, then there is little point in applying unless you want to get a RA-ship or a TA-ship. Shreya.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I agree with Jasmine, and in fact, this is specifically for PhD though. I did reach out to many professors, and I would say that there is no correlation about with the professors who finally reached out to me about working with them. But doing that work, I think emailing them, finding out about the labs, finding out about the kind of research is done, that was the most important thing for me to make my SOP or tailor my resume in some way, and also understand what kind of research is going on and whether I actually want to join or not. So I think even though you should not take their yes or no reply as a face value, I think you may or may not get in either way. But I think it's important, it's good, if you have time you should email them or at least go through which professors are working there or what kind of research is going on. I think that is important.
Thank you. Thank you for your answers.
So moving forward to Vishal, there had been an important question in chat earlier, which is what about the funding in PhD and what are the procedures to apply?
I can go. So for a PhD, mostly, to the best of my knowledge, the degree will be funded. That is in most universities kind of a criteria for you to be taken into the PhD program, that you already have a guarantee of funding. And usually the procedure is to reach out to the professor that you're interested in working with, and that will typically be followed by the professor replying to you by saying that they're interested or not, and sometimes you don't get a response. But it basically involves talking to the professor. Maybe they'll have like an interview with you, but really, at a high level, the procedure is to reach out to different professors, get an offer of funding from them. And the funding could be either in terms of RA or TA, and that just like in the difference between those two is just like who gives you money, but at the end of the day, like it's funding. And again, the procedure for that too is to talk to a professor.
Okay, just to add on what Adi said, that's exactly true. Just wanted to just tell people who don't have an idea, like different universities have also different sources of funding, also other than like GRA or GTA. There are also like some financial aids that different universities have. There are some like graduate school aids and things like that, but a lot of them are accessible through professors. So again, it kind of boils down to the point that you would have to probably contact professors or departments in case of a GTA. I know in Virginia Tech you can also apply to other departments for GTA. So in case you have been admitted with a professor, they don't have funding yet. You can also apply, like there are GTA forms and emails that are circulated. You can also apply through that. So I think in terms of funding, the idea is to reach out to as many people and as many departments that are maybe related to you. For instance, I know one of my colleagues, one of my lab mates actually, they were funded, even though we were in aerospace, they were funded for one semester from the physics department. So there are also these things that work out. Largely for PhD, it is GRA or GTA that comes from your own advisor, but there are also other financial aids and options out there. And also to add on, there are also options as international student, like there are Indian government options of some scholarships that are circulated. There are like international scholarships. So there are different options. Just, the idea is to take some time and actually be able to apply and find out about them and apply. So yeah, I mean, just wanted to list out different options that are available other than GT and GRA also.
Thank you, Nandita. So, Vishal, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hi. How much does networking impact your PhD application, especially when you're applying to a program instead of a professor? And if it does, any suggestions on how to network and connect with, say, a bunch of professors who are involved there?
I would be a little skeptical to contact a bunch of professors from the same department or same university, because then that would mean that you're not decisive about applying to a particular person or project. But sometimes the admission committee is independent of all these and they do different levels of review. And it may not necessarily translate into your application being processed at a priority, but it is definitely good to network in the sense of career advancement or getting to know more people and opportunities. Maybe people senior to me can answer this better, Nandita or Adi.
One thing is, I think that becomes the difference between like a master's applicant and a PhD applicant. Sometimes a lot of masters, I was very quite, a bit clueless about where exactly or what exactly project that I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do aerodynamics, but I was quite confused after my bachelor's as to what exactly I want to, focus on, what is better, what are the things I should be looking for. And in my case, we did not have LinkedIn at that time, and so a lot of information and a lot of insight for me came through talking to people. So and by people, I don't mean professors directly, but like seniors and friends of friends who were applying outside. So networking for me really helped, because for me at that time, they were the window to different programs and what I should be googling, what I should be looking for, and things like that. So according to me, networking really helps. And in masters, if you are clueless as to what exactly you want to do or apply, there's no harm in emailing people or professors. Only maybe a few might respond back. So there's no harm, but like Jasmine mentioned, it's better for you to have some kind of an idea, or maybe somebody helping you to figure out what you want to maybe focus on. So like I said, even like for work, for graduate studies, networking always helps. There's no harm in networking and finding out. And especially if you're confused between like two different labs. For instance, here, it really helped me to talk to like students, in a particular lab, to find out what their culture is, how they operate, how the professor operates. So basically finding out the things that's happening inside, which is not very, visible outside. So yeah, it's very helpful to network, I think. And there's no harm, like I said, in like reaching out to people and asking questions, but do make sure that you, like we discussed before, you do have the right questions to ask, instead of asking like very basic questions.
I just want to emphasize further on Anita's point, like we don't understand sometimes that how important networking is, because like whenever we are developing our application material, we really need to get it through another pair of eyes. And of course, we need to be connected with people who are in the similar situation, who are also applying, so we can share things and, get some idea. Then we also need a network of people who are at a little bit higher level, who have recently done this, and they can give us some feedback on how our application looks like. So, and that is also one of the reason we are creating these cohorts for the MS and PhD applicants. So in future, we will have more workshops and sessions to just keep everybody together and connected with each other, because you will realize it later, but not only in grad school, like even after grad school, you need to stay connected with your specific field, people from your specific field, because most of the time, whatever information is available publicly, it's mostly like generic advice, and that's not good enough. Like, for example, you are preparing for a postdoc position. That time you will need a cohort of people who are applying for a postdoc. After that, when you are applying for a faculty position, then you need a similar cohort. So yeah, you keep leveling up in that ladder, but it's really good to, start having such network and connections right from the beginning. Okay, so next questions, Nikita.
Yeah, hey, hello everyone. So I wanted to ask you if like when we are preparing our SOP and all, so let's assume that if I've talked to some of the professors and I like their research area, and so is it okay if I mention their name in my SOP, like this is the professor that so there are two different scenarios. So this is the professor I've talked to and want to work under, and our research interests also align. And the other scenario is I have not talked to the professor, but I still want to work under them. So is it okay if I mention their name in both of those, or when will it be okay if I mention their name?